Back with DC strats for Orochi. This season, the Nanahara Family Alliance are up, which is fitting, and minus 60% defense to all counters. I will be going over the mechanics of the fight, some tips and tricks, and I have a few example teams to use this season. All of this is going to be timestamped, which you can find in the video's description, so let's go ahead and check it out. The boss here is a counter ranger who spawns an orb that is actually your ally and you need to keep alive. Other than that, no other ads spawn, and she just moves towards your ship. Boss's basic is just, I don't know what you want to call it, a laser beam, lightning, whatever it is. She just sits there and hammers on your front line. That's all it is. Nothing special about it. The boss's special, indicated by the blue bar underneath her portrait, is this tornado that she sits there and hits your front line with. It will lift them up momentarily and does percentage based HP. Also, it will apply a minus 100% outgoing healing to any supports on the field. From what I understand, it's supposed to be every other special she does that. As well as after she finishes casting it, she gets perfect evasion for 8 seconds. So the boss will initiate a hit check at 70% HP and around 40 to 30% again. Now she's supposed to get damage reduction while she's in this hit check, but because the boss is currently broken, that doesn't happen. Also, if you actually complete the hit check, she'll get stunned. But during the entire hit check, she'll be sitting there throwing down lightning, AoEing down your entire team. This is your orb. There are many like it, but this one is yours. Your orb is your best friend. It is your life. You must protect it as you protect your team. If that orb dies, it obliterates your team. There's really nothing that can survive it. In theory, you could protect yourself with 2 shields, but honestly, we have Chinatsu, and Chinatsu can keep that thing alive without even trying. Orochi's special conditions will send out a lightning bolt every 10 seconds to attack the farthest unit within 20 meters in front of Orochi. This move will stun the unit for 3 seconds, up to 2 units I believe, but it cannot stun X. Pattern Enhance is actually really simple. It just changes the hit checks from 80 hits to 160, effectively doubling them. Here are the stats for the boss. Boss has 3.4 million HP, 4k defense, 4.7k hit, 1.7k evasion. This means your tanks or frontline are going to need 2,522 or more evasion, and your DPS will need 3,321 or more hit if you don't shred the evasion, and then 1,660 or more hit if you shred the evasion by 50%. When the hit check starts, your goal should be to burst this boss down as quick as possible. You can skip the hit checks. You can force the boss to go into the next one, canceling out the first one, which will buy you a lot of time, though you will be dealing with the lightning the entire time. So we're going to start off with Seal Forward here. and then we deploy Lin Jian back. Now I delayed Chinatsu here because I want her to get stunned, but that stun can actually cancel your special out, and I want that special to happen. After that, we go ahead and deploy our Aegea for our shield and in our skill haste buff. Now this is probably going to be the next most important thing that you do. Use the shields before this next special happens to redirect this. This will sit there and reduce the damage on your front line, as well as let you ulti on Lin Jian as soon as possible. Now I deployed Jacko in the back to let her take the stun instead of my supports here. Not sure if it's really that necessary, but less damage, less stun times, usually works out. After that, I do the same thing here with Chifu. I'm using her to sit there and take the stun to not interrupt my Aegea from using her special. I go ahead and use Chinatsu ultis whenever I can because, to be honest, she's going to get a ton of them up anyways because she has so much skill haste during this fight. After that, it's pretty much a waiting game. Now, I use the shield again here to sit there and redirect Orochi's special so that it doesn't sit there and send my seal up into the air so that I can ulti on time when I want to. After that, it's deploy Kurian and Dorothy, pop all ultis except for Jacko's. We need to save Jacko's because we have to wait for the perfect evasion, which I actually didn't do, so I missed out on a couple of hits here. And only the last hit actually didn't miss. And of course, we have our damage numbers here with Kurian doing the most in the 10 seconds he was out. Jesus. This is the team we just ran. For rocking tip is for the ship, Vivian for the operator. Chinatsu is our lead. For gear, we're running Seal on HP gear with incoming healing. We want to sit there and combat the minus healing from the modifiers. Lin Jian we want on tanky CDR. You can run 72.9% and be fine. Probably run a little less as well. It's not too hurtful to go a little lower than that. Chinatsu, we're rocking as much CDR as possible. She already has CDR from the buffs because she's up, but more ultis is always nice. Sinjia, we want to sit there and put as much CDR tanky as we can get her. Jacko, you want to sit there and run on any type of anti-ground, anti-ranger, or anti-counter. As you can see, I am rocking the Volcano set anti-ground here with 45% anti-counter damage and 71% anti-ground. He does get the ult amp. That's probably the first line you want to sit there and tune it to if you're going to use Volcano. Chifu, I'm just running on full CDR. She gets deployed late with the buffs. She already has more CDR, but we want to make sure that we get the ulti on time. Kurian, we want to run as much damage as we can possibly fit on him, so we're just running attack, but anti-ranger or anti-counter work as well. Want to fit as much ground damage, anti-ranger, or anti-counter damage on him. And then Dorothy, I didn't really optimize her gear. I'm just using whatever I've left on her. She doesn't really get to do much damage anyways, but the same applies. You just want to put as much anti-ground, anti-ranger, anti-counter on her as you can fit. Okay, so this strategy is pretty much the same. Well, at least the beginning is. We're going to do everything exactly how we did it in the previous strat, where we sit there and deploy Seal. We get Chinatsu, delay her deployment just by a second so she gets stunned, but doesn't get her special canceled, and then into Aegea. We're still going to sit here and redirect the first special, just so that we can sit here and get our ulti off without being interrupted. But the main difference is that we're using Sigma here, and I deploy Sigma back here because now that that tower is sitting there, that tower is going to be taking all the stuns for my team. So with that, I can forward deploy and I don't have to sit there and play around that mechanic anymore. Now this does sit there and change the deploy a bit by about 4 to 5 seconds because we're 1 dB behind previous strategy. So in that case, we can just go ahead and forward deploy our Chifu. Let her get in there. Now, even though well actually no, we don't have to really worry about much anything else. We just sit there and drop our shield here to sit there and try to redirect this Orochi special, so that our seal won't be interrupted. We wait for the last moment here before we want to pop everything. Use all of our ultis here, buffs, get Dorothy out. Do a bunch of damage, wait for the perfect evasion go away, and then we use a Asigma ulti. Now with this we have a Asigma at the top. This is the team we just ran. We're rocking Tempest for the ship, Vivian for the operator. Chinatsu is our lead. For gear, we're running Seal on HP gear with incoming healing. We want to sit there and combat the minus healing from the modifiers. Linjian, we want on tanky CDR. You can run 72.9% and be fine. Probably run a little less as well. It's not too hurtful to go a little lower than that. Chinatsu, we're rocking as much CDR as possible. She already has CDR from the buffs because she's up, but more ultis is always nice. Zinjia, we want to sit there and put as much CDR tanky as we can get her. Jacko, you want to sit there and run on any type of anti-ground, anti-ranger, or anti-counter. As you can see, I am rocking the Volcano set anti-ground here with 45% anti-counter damage and 71% anti-ground. He does get the ult amp. That's probably the first line you want to sit there and tune into if you're going to use Volcano. Chifu, I'm just running on full CDR. She gets deployed late. With the buffs, she already has more CDR, but we want to make sure that we get the ulti on time. Korean, we want to run as much damage as we could possibly fit on him, so we're just running attack, but anti-ranger or anti-counter work as well. Want to fit as much ground damage, anti-ranger, or anti-counter damage on him. And then Dorothy, I didn't really optimize her gear. I'm just using whatever I've left on her. She doesn't really get to do much damage anyways, but the same applies. You just want to put as much anti-ground, anti-ranger, anti-counter on her as you can fit. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you improve your scores this season. If you don't happen to have Jacko or Asigma, you can use Eve as well. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description. If you want to support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. And as always, I will see you all next time.